Oh, live on YouTube.
Is the Zoom always on, or just?
I'm the host now. I guess I can mute.
I think maybe participants it'll allow you to do something.
That's if he's host. Yeah, if he's host.
And I mute everybody.
Okay, maybe to more.
Is he host? Yeah, host.
Okay, you can press mute all.
Where's that?
Bottom right.
That's what I want to do.
Mute all.
No, a bit more bottom right.
Middle
in the chat, in the participant box, in the right.
Very right. Keep going.
Oh, there.
Good.
Down.
Yep, that one.
Mute all.
And then you can uncheck that one. Oh, do you want them to be able to unmute themselves?
No.
Okay, so press mute all again.
No, they can mute themselves. I don't mind.
Okay. Well, then they'll come in off mute. You're going to have to mute them when everyone starts coming in.
Oh, but I'm not ready to be muted.
I think you have to go.
Mute all.
No. If everyone's already muted. No.
Or maybe if we... Oh, no.
That's working. Okay, that's
We'll see how
working.
hard you press to see if it shakes.
Not too bad. I just won't do it too hard. Stop video. Video. Let's start with or say shalom. What about? Huh? Say shalom. I'll just welcome everybody. Okay, 5, 6, 7. Here we go. Hi, Judy. Hello, Ivykins. Say shalom imruma. Say shalom aleinu. Kol Israel. Ve'imru amen. Say shalom imroma. Say shalom aleinu ve'al kol Israel ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, hey! Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu. כל ישראל יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. Bless you, Isaac. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם. סלאם, סלאם, שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם. Shalom, shalom. You ready at home? Here we go. Whatever shalom aleinu, whatever shalom aleinu, whatever shalom aleinu, be'al kulam. Whatever shalom aleinu, whatever shalom aleinu, whatever shalom aleinu, be'al kulam. Salam aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, shalom aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Shalom, shalom. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Od yavo shalom aleinu. Ve'al kulam. Oh yeah, happy Friday everybody. All right, today's a really special Shabbat for us for a number of reasons. First of all, because we are now 2 weeks in Victoria, 2 weeks with the big donut, 0 corona cases. We're really excited about that. It's special also because I've got these beautiful children right next to me, Alex and Isaac, in this beautiful setting. It's so good to be with everybody. And also because this week's Shabbat is a very special Shabbat because it is the Shabbat where we celebrate the incredible work that Witzo does. Now, there's a special reason that we celebrate Shabbat for Witzo this week because the Parsha, Kaye celebrates the life of one of the most remarkable women in our history. In fact, it is because of that woman, because of Sarah, our foremother, that we are actually doing this very spiel today. Because together with her husband Abraham, the two of them were the trailblazers that made a decision that impacted not only the people who we call Jewish people today, but also many other faiths. So the great faiths of the world, we call them the monotheistic faiths, the Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, all of those faiths stem from the incredible decision, the courageous decisions that Sarah and her husband Abraham made when they decided to embark on an odyssey that would forever change the landscape of theology and the way in which the world would be operating from those days in Haran, from Ur-Kasdim, Mesopotamia, to the land of Israel and beyond. We are so fortunate today to have one of the past presidents of Witzo, the federal presidents of Witzo, Mrs. Paulette Cherney, who's coming to talk to us today about some of the incredible work that Witzo does, not only in Australia, but also internationally, and different ways in which we as community can offer our support in bolstering the efforts of Witzo here and, of course, in Israel. So it is my pleasure, therefore, to welcome Paulette, who is not only here in the capacity of being the past president of Witzo, but also one of our long-standing St. Kilda Shul members and special friends. So Paulette, I'm going to ask you to come sit down, relax, and come tell us a little bit about why today is so special.
Thank you, Brett. What a wonderful introduction. I couldn't have done better myself, let me assure you. I'm so thrilled to be here. And Kaye, as you know, is what we commonly call Witzo Shabbat. And we're so proud that many of the synagogues around Melbourne allow our Witzo women, invite our Witzo women to come in and talk to them about Witzo and the work we do. Now, as you know, and Brett described, Sarah was a foremother of our religion, particularly the Jewish religion, and many others. However, Wheatsoe has many foremothers as well. We were established 100 years ago in London by a woman called Rebecca Seif, and on her gang of women, there was Dr. Vera Weitzman, who was the wife of the first president of Israel, Chaim Weitzman, Edith Eder, Ramona Goodman, and Henrietta Irwell. And they provided community services for the residents of Mandate Palestine. This came about because all their husbands were very, very staunch Zionists, and they would go from London to Palestine, and they would work with the men to create a more Zionistic feel. Their wives went along, and during that time, they went and visited the settlements, the kibbutz, the moshavs, where the families were living. And they were absolutely shocked at the conditions that these women worked in. It was very poor. It was depressing. The children had so little, and the women worked not as slaves, but felt like slaves because of where they were living. So these women decided that there was a need to do something for those who lived in Palestine at that time, and they decided on the 7th of July 1920 to establish Wheatsoe, Women's International Zionist Organisation. Now, I would like to hope many of you who are watching do know what Wheatsoe does. We are the largest social welfare organisation in Israel. That is huge. We have consultative status at the United Nations with ECOSOC and UNICEF, and it's reliant on our membership of 250,000 women throughout the world. I learned an interesting fact the other night. You'd think after 47 years of being in Wheatsoe, I would know most of what's gone on. Well, in 1959, when UNICEF was formed, the Secretary General of the United Nations contacted Wheatsoe and asked them, and they're the only organisation they asked, to come and be part of UNICEF. So since 1959, Wheatsoe has been part of the United Nations, but our membership is vital for us to retain that. We're also part of ECOSOC. So our women lobby in the United Nations for women and children throughout the world. Not just Jewish women, not just Israeli women, all women, particularly those from countries where there is no equality for women. Such an important role, particularly in this day and age. Wheatsoe supports over 800 programs across Israel. So we are scattered. If you go to Israel, which many of you I know have, no matter where you go, you'll see a school, a kindergarten, a daycare centre, a women's shelter, and they all have the Wheatsoe sign on it. That's because that's what we do. We also look after thousands of youth in 5 youth villages, including dormitories at risk students. One of those is a Chuzat Yeladim on the top of Mount Carmel in Haifa. This is a Wheatsoe Australia project. We have had that project since 1945, I believe, when it was actually opened originally for the children who came from Europe who were orphaned. It was then bequeathed to Wheatsoe, who then said to Wheatsoe Australia, this is the project that we would like you to run. The work that Wheatsoe Australia does and the funds that have been raised makes life bearable for not only the 80 youth that we have there, but also for their families. A lot of them are referred by the Social Welfare Department, by the municipality. Some of them come from, unfortunately, hospitals, mental institutions, but these are ones that there is a belief that Wheatsoe can turn this around. We have the most amazing director there called Yossi Saragosi, and he is incredible. So this is, if you're ever going to Israel and you'd like to visit there, please contact me at WITSO Australia, and I would love to set up a visit for you. We also subsidise 30 legal service bureaus. This is so important, particularly for women who need legal services, and this is an area that we are very, very well placed in, because so many of our women go on from there and then get educated and do get degrees. We have a recent WITSO woman who became a mayor in one of the areas in Israel that is not necessarily a Jewish area. She certainly was not Jewish, and we're very proud that we do cover Jewish, Israeli, Arab, all kinds of women and children in Israel. We also have 2 shelters for children, plus this year, due to COVID and the problems that have arisen, we have created 1 emergency shelter during Corona period. We also have 3 shelters for the prevention and treatment of domestic violence. WITSO also has the only men's hotline where men who believe that they are on the verge of violence can call this number, and they are spoken to by other men, many of whom have been in their same position, and they help them cope with this violent attitude. And we have saved a lot of marriages with this. We also have 2 parent hotlines where children can call, or their parents can call, if they're struggling to cope with the needs and the pressures of being parents. Currently, WITSO Victoria has what we are calling a Feed a Family campaign. We're all aware of the ravages that have been brought by COVID. WITSO supplies 900,000 meals a month. That's a lot of meals. And there are many, many families that are actually going hungry. So it's up to WITSO to ensure that these families do not go hungry. And we would love your support. And if you would like to contact witsovic.org.au/feedafamily, they would love to have your donation. This is the work that we do. Israel is there because we need it. They have also gone through a particularly tough time during COVID-19, and it's up to organisations like WITSO to make sure that they come through the other side, not having suffered too much. I would like to thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, St Kilda Shul. Thank you, Brett, for allowing me to interrupt your music. I know somebody said, where has Brett's music gone? But that's all right, he's coming back. This is my moment in the sun, and WITSO is more to the point. So thank you once again for allowing me to share this with you and with all the people out there watching. Thank you.
Thanks,
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that. So, you know, we have a saying that Kol Yisrael Arabim Zeh Lazeh Zeh Bazeh, that all of Israel look after one another, that we are all connected like one big family, like one big body, and we need to play our part, because if we're doing it tough, just know that there's somebody else out there who's doing it tougher. So WITSO is a fantastic cause. Go for it, guys. We would love you to get involved. All right, why don't we sing a song, guys? It's not something that I'd planned, but you might remember it from school. The words are from Rabbi Akiva, V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, love your neighbor like you love yourself. And what better typifies the message that Paulette just gave us? Take it away, boys. ואהבת לרעך כמוך, זה כלל גדול בתורה. ואהבת לרעך כמוך, זה כלל גדול בתורה. היי דירה. front of me, I may not follow. Don't walk behind me, I may not lead. Just walk beside me and be my friend, and together we will walk in the ways of Hashem. ואהבת לרעך כמוך, זה כגדול בתורה. ואהבת לרעך כמוך, זה כגדול בתורה. Beautiful work, guys. Okay, we're going to welcome another woman into our presence. And this is the Shabbat Queen. This is the Queen that we welcome every single Friday night. You ready at home to sing? Here we go. One more time, I love it. Go for it, Alex. Nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Shabbat, Shabbat, Dekavela. Nini, nine, 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 Shamor, Bezachor. אחד ישמיענו אל המיוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד שמו תפארת ולתהילה ניי 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 on the violin, let's go. And nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Roz, awesome, Rosalind. Boy בשלום, בואי בשלום, הטרף בלגן, בשמחה ובצלתו, אמוני עם סגולה, בואי קלה, בואי קלה לך, ניי 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 One more time with the violin, guys. Give it to us. And nine, 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 nine. Nine, 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 nine. Shabbat, Shabbat, Nekavela. Thanks, Sans. We'll see you soon. Any special occasions out there, guys? Write it. Let us know. It is good to say thank you. Tov lehodot Lashem ulezamer Shimcha Elim. And Mazel Tov to Denise on the engagement of her daughter. Lashem. One more time. Tov lehodot Lashem. Tov lehodot Lashem. Ulezamer שמך עליון, טוב להודות להשם, להגיד בבוקר
חסדך
ואמונתך בלילות, טוב טוב להודות להשם, להגיד
בבוקר חסדך
בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, ואמונתך בלילות, טוב טוב להודות להשם, טוב טוב להודות להשם. אדון עולם, השם עליו, בטרם כל יציר נברא, עת נשא בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי ככלותם בו לבדו, ימלוך נורא, והוא היה, והוא עובד, והוא יהיה יתברא. You ready to know? Here we go! אדון עולם השם עליו, טרם כל יציר נברא, ונעשה בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי קהילת הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא, הוא היה והוא עובד והוא יהיה ותפארה. אדון עולם השם מלך, בטרם כל יציר נברא, ונעשה בחפצו כל, אזי מלך שמו נקרא, ואחרי קהילת הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא עובד ותפארה, והוא היה והוא עובד ותפארה. Last week on Shabbat, we lost one of the great jewels of the Jewish world. We lost Chief Rabbi, Lord Jonathan Sachs, who passed away on Shabbat Kodesh. And the following verse, the last verse of Adon Olam, made me think of him all of a sudden, because he was asked when he was diagnosed years ago with a very serious illness that ultimately ended up killing him, that why he didn't talk about it more. And what he said was he didn't want, and this was told to me by a very close friend of mine, he didn't want this to become a crisis of faith for people, because for him it wasn't. And he quoted the following verse, the last verse of Adon Olam. Biyado afkid ruchi, in your hands, Hashem, I place my soul. Be'et ishan ve'a'ira, and the time when I will sleep, I will not be afraid. Ve'im ruchi, and with my breath, with my spirit, with my soul, Geviyati Hashem li, God is with me, below ira, I will not be afraid. And those words, I think, are so important and so powerful. The idea that fear is something that paralyzes us. But it can also be something that we can use to motivate us. We sing every single week that Kol ha'olam kulo, Rab Nachman says the whole world is a narrow bridge. Cross over it, do it slowly, but don't be afraid, because fear does not allow us to achieve the goals that we need to achieve as human beings. It prevents us from moving forward. It stifles our growth, and Rabbi Sachs understood that so well. Today, tomorrow morning when we read the Parsha of Kaye Sarah, we do not call the Parsha the death of Sarah. We call it the life of Sarah. Why? Because When somebody passes away, I have yahrzeit for my dad this week on Tuesday night. And when I think of my father, sure, I'm sad, but the overarching feeling that I have is happiness and joy and celebration, and the fact that everything that we did together with as a family and as a father and son are still very much a part of who I am today. So we celebrate life. We don't dwell on death. And the final verse of L'chad of Adon Olam and this whole session we dedicate to the memory of Rabbi Sachs. Be'ado akid ruchi be'et ishan be'aira ve'im ruchi keviati Adonai li ve'lo yira. Adon Olam Hashem Malach בטרם כל יציר נברא ותעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי כגלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה אדון עולם השם מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא ותעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי כגלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה והוא היה והוא הווה בתפארה. Cha cha cha. Hi Mimi, thank you. Shabbat shalom to you too. Mimi, I'm not far from you at all. We're just around the corner. Thank you, Catherine. All right, everybody, Shabbat shalom. Thank you very much for joining us. We hope that you have enjoyed. Thank you to Paulette for sharing her words with us and for telling us about the amazing work that Witzo does in celebration and in honor of women around the world and in Israel. So with that, I'd like to thank Alex and Isaac, who are going to play us out with a song that celebrates this amazing world that we call our world.
Who'll be performing What a Wonderful World?
Oh, yeah, very nice. All right, everybody, please put your hands together. There you go. Thank you for that, for those amazing claps, for those beautiful. Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Hoppa! Bim bam, bim 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 bam, bim 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 bam. Here we go! Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat 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 Shabbat. What? Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat 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 shalom. Shabbat 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 shalom. Shabbat 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 shalom. Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat 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 shalom. Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat shalom, hey! Shabbat 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 Shabbat. Here we go, big ending. Cha cha cha. See everybody. Goodbye. Goodbye, lesson.